Review for The Machinist, 2004, starring Christian Bale. A movie I saw a long time ago, and I just rewatched it, and I really liked it. I've always liked this movie. It's a very weird movie, very dark movie. So Bale is a machinist, like the title says, and he has this problem where he can't really sleep well or at all, and he is incredibly skinny, very unhealthy. He doesn't eat that much at all. I mean, he eats a little bit throughout the movie, and he pretty much just works, and then he goes to these this cafe that's in an airport. It's like an all 24-hour cafe in an airport, and he just goes there and he kind of hits on this waitress who becomes important later in the movie. And then sometimes he visits his girlfriend, who's actually, let's say, a lady of the night, and he pays her money, but she actually cares for him. And then he goes to work, and he just keeps doing that. But there's a dark past that's something that happened in his past, and he has these health problems that he just can't get past. So the synopsis is: an industrial worker who hasn't slept in a year begins to doubt his own sanity. So Christian Bale is, very good in this. I mean, it's one of his more famous roles because of how skinny he got. But really good actors. Jason Leigh is in it. Michael Ironside's in it just for a little bit. He's another machinist that works with him. Sharian is in it. He's really good. It says he's in The Fifth Element. I don't really remember him in that. But he's really good. He kind of plays this guy that Bale meets at a bar, and they kind of talk for a while. The guy has a hand that he got in an industrial accident, so his hand's all messed up. And he says that they cut off his big toe and put it on his hand, and his hand looks like really weird. It says he's in Lost in Space. I don't remember that, but yeah, he's really good. And then you find out he also is a machinist at the same shop. And something happens later to Michael Ironside, and he blames this guy, saying that he's trying to ruin his life, that he's trying to get him fired from his job. So throughout the movie, Bale becomes more and more paranoid, not trusting reality. What's real, what's not, is definitely in this movie. And yeah, I really liked it. I guess I'll get into spoilers now. So Christian Bale, throughout this movie, he's like having these like visions and these and not dreams, because he's not sleeping, but something in his past happened to him, and he seems to not get over it. And what you end up finding out is that a year ago he hit a kid, but he didn't stop, and he drove off. He never got caught for it. And this kid's mom is the woman who works at the cafe that he always goes to. But then you end up finding out, because he goes on a date with her and they actually like each other, but that is all in his head and fake. And because in the end, the cafe worker that he's talking to says to him, you know, you just sit here and drink coffee like we never talk. We never talk. So all of that was in his head just to kind of make him deal with the guilt that he has about killing this kid. Man, excuse me. And then that's revealed in the end. And he ends up turning himself into the police and admitting to what he did. So it's pretty good. There's a lot of good hints in the movie along the way. Um Man, excuse me. So I think the movie does a decent job of kind of being a mystery, having hints that lead to the end. Like what happens to his car. Um he like goes to report this car to the police and he knows the license plate, and this car is driven by John Sharian, and he goes to report this car to the police, and he has the license plate, and then the cop goes and looks into it, and then he comes back and says, this is your car. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you reported this car missing a year ago, or stolen a year ago. And then the cop kind of thinks, like, he begins to question him, and he's like, you know, it's illegal to fill out a false police report, right? And then Bale freaks out and he runs away, and there's actually like a chase scene with him and the cop. But that plays later, because later you find out that that was the car he was in when he hit the kid. He killed the kid. It's like I think it's like a 68 Camaro. Cool car. But and then, you know, they don't show this, but you assume then that he says that it was stolen, and he reports it to the police. The car's gone, and now he like drives like, you know, this I think like this 70 something truck. So there's a lot of little hints like that in the movie. I think it does a pretty good job of doing that. But Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars. He says if you were any thinner, Steve tells him, you wouldn't exist. Trevor Reznik weighs 121 pounds, and you wince when you look at him. He is a lonely man, disliked at work, up all night, returning needfully to 2 women who are kind to him. Stevie, a lady of the night, and Marie, the waitress at the all-night diner out at the airport. I haven't slept in a year, he tells Marie. Christian Bale lost more than 60 pounds to play this role. A fact I share not because you need to know how much weight he lost, but because you need to know that it is indeed Christian Bale. He is so gaunt, his face so hollow, he looks nothing like the actor we're familiar with. There are moments when his appearance even distracts from his performance, because we worry about him. Certainly we believe that the character Trevor is at the end of his rope. And I was reminded of Anthony Perkins' work in Orson Welles' The Trial, another film about a man who finds himself trapped in the vise of the world's madness. Trevor works as a machinist. There's a guy like him in every union shop, a guy who knows all the rules and works according to them, and is a pain in the ass about them. His co-workers think he is strange. Maybe he frightens them a little. His boss asks for a urine sample. One day he gets distracted, and as a result, one of his co-workers loses a hand. The victim, Miller, Michael Ironside, almost seems less upset about the accident than Trevor is. But then Trevor has no reserve to padding. His nerve endings seem exposed to pain and disappointment. Yeah, and see, and that's interesting too, because in the movie that happens, and then Michael Ironside comes back to the shop to kind of, I think, collect like a paycheck, and Christian Bale apologizes to him, and Michael Ironside isn't even that angry. He says, "Hey, man, you know, my lawyers got me like tons of money." Because like some of the machine equipment isn't like up to snuff, it should have been repaired and all these things. He's like, I got a massive payout. He's like, whatever, it's fine. So he's not even that upset. And all of this happened because he was distracted by John Sharian, which he blames him. But then later, throughout the paranoia in the movie, Christian Bale then begins to think that Michael Ironside is playing people against him. So then he goes and visits him at his home. Michael Ironside isn't even upset. I mean, his wife is kind of upset at Christian Bale, but yeah, it's interesting. The paranoia just like consumes Christian Bale in this movie. So Jennifer Jason Leigh is a consolation. She sees his need. Trevor is reading Dostoevsky's The Idiot, and perhaps there is a parallel between Stevie and Natasha. Dostoevsky's heroine is drawn to self-destructive and a dangerous man. Leigh has played a lot of women in her career, but each one is different because she defines them by how they are needed as well as by what they need. Marie is on the other side of the coin, a cheerful presence in the middle of the night. You're lonely, she tells Trevor. When you work graveyard shift, as long as I have, you get to know the type. She wonders why he comes all the way out to the airport just for a cup of coffee and a slice of pie. She wouldn't mind dating him. Then there's the matter of Ivan, John Sharian, the distracting and disturbing co-worker who perhaps contributed to the accident. He lost some fingers on a drill press once, and the docs replaced them with his toes. I can shuffle cards like I used to, he says. I can't shuffle cards like I used to, he says. Nor apparently can he punch it on the time clock. The guys at the shop claim he doesn't exist. Is Trevor imagining him? And what is the meaning of the post-it notes that look like an incomplete version of the Hangman's puzzle? The Machinist has an ending that provides a satisfactory or at least a believable explanation for its mysteries and contradictions. But the movie is not about the plot. While the conclusion explains treasured anguish, it doesn't account for it. The director, Brad Anderson, working for a screenplay by Scott Kozar, wants to convey a state of mind. And he and Bale do that with disturbing effectiveness. So... and then he goes on for a few more paragraphs, but, yeah, interesting review. I always like Roger Ebert's takes on movies. I think I pretty much agree with him on this one. I think it's 3 out of 4 stars, so I think that's fair. Christian Bale took up smoking to help curb his appetite when he was crash dieting. Brad Anderson had not asked Christian Bale to lose such a vast amount of weight and was genuinely shocked when he saw Bale's appearance on the first day of shooting. He also confessed to being thrilled by the actor's dedication. The producers of the film claim that Bale dropped from 173 pounds in weight down to around about 110 pounds in weight to make the film. They also claim that Bale actually wanted to drop down to 100 pounds, but that they would not let him go below 120, a fear that his health could be in too much danger if he did. His diet consisted of 1 can of tuna and an apple per day. His 63-pound weight loss is said to be a record for any actor in a movie role. He regained the weight in time for his role in Batman Begins. Yeah, which is crazy because then he got like super ripped. and gain tons of weight. So oddly enough, Christian Bale claimed that he actually enjoyed losing so much weight, oftentimes finding himself in a euphoric state due to the extreme conditions he subjected himself to. Wow. But yeah, I like the movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a good mystery, but you know, I think there's more to it than just the mystery. Just watching Christian Bale on screen is a real treat, I would say, and his dedication to the role. So this director, I've seen some of his other stuff. He did Trans-Siberian. I like that movie. That's Woody Harrelson, Ben Kingsley. They're like going through Russia on a train, and a bunch of stuff happens. Session 9. That's a good movie. That's a good horror movie. So pretty good director. I like at least 3 of his movies. Oh, he did The Call. That's decent. But yeah, I haven't seen Next Stop Wonderland, The Darien Gap. So I haven't. He's done a bunch of movies. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I've seen 3 or 4 of them, and I like them. So, but yeah, that's about it. Like, comment below. Let me know if you've seen The Machinist, what you think of it, and I'll see you next time.